It is Sunday, the 14th of July, 2024. Just finished my coffee. Just finished my writing. Writing took a little bit longer. Some days it does. And we're still dealing with the Tao Te Ching. We're reading from Dr. Wayne Dyer's interpretation, his presentation of the Tao and how to live it, his suggestions on how to live it. The book is Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. I started reading the Tao Te Ching back in 81 or 82. Mentioned before that Alan Watts's book, The Tao, A Watercourse Way, was given to me lent to me by a girlfriend's mother. She gave me that and his book on Zen. And when my girlfriend at the time broke up with me, I was very much disappointed that her mother wouldn't be around to lend me books anymore. That's how life proceeds sometimes, guys. From those teenage years to now, my life has been filled with reading books about the Tao Te Ching, as well as doing my very, very best of practicing, along with other things as well. That one little thoughtful gift from a girlfriend's mom just set me on a lifelong path. So I'll always be grateful. So this is verse 45. The greatest perfection seems imperfect, and yet its use is inexhaustible. The greatest fullness seems empty, and yet its use is endless. Great straightness seems twisted. Great intelligence seems stupid. Great eloquence, seems awkward. Great truth seems false. Great discussion seems silent. Activity conquers cold. Inactivity conquers heat. Stillness and tranquility set things in order in the universe. That is verse 45 of the Tao Te Ching out of 81 total verses. So we're near the completion. We're getting closer. A little over a month away from reading one a day. Here, as it seems to me, what the Tao is telling us to do is look past appearances. That, as Lao Tzu says, that great straightness seems twisted, great intelligence seems stupid, great eloquence seems awkward, great truth seems false, great discussion seems silent. Beneath the appearance of things lies the Tao itself. Look past the appearance and give yourself to the Tao. Look past appearance and give yourself to love. Look past appearance and give yourself to God. Chuckin' and Driving says, "This is a great day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. God bless America. God bless everyone, my friend." And Abby Rose. Abby Rose is a really pretty name. Says amen. Angel says hi. Angel, my friend, how are you? So, what the Tao is asking us, don't argue with life. To see in its implicit order that we are part of it, that we belong to it, and that anything that seems to be out of order is exactly how it is, including our desire to give it order, to give it meaning. Anything that seems broken is absolutely the way it's supposed to be, as is our desire to fix it. That we look past the appearance, we look past the appearance of straightness, of intelligence, of eloquence, of truth, of discussion. We look past the obviousness of all of that, and we see that just beneath what appears to be a split, as there is no split, it's all way too seamless for there to be a split. Just beneath that appearance is the natural silence and allowingness of the Tao itself. If you prefer to use the term God, then the Tao, that's fine. If you prefer to use the word the Tao or Krishna Christ consciousness, consciousness itself, life, reality, love. They're just terms, they're just concepts. Beneath every concept is the reality of this. That's why, in Buddhism they use such terms as thisness, thusness, suchness, because it doesn't really have an actual label, and it can't be labeled. The experience of this is just the experience of this. And once we label it, we have a tendency to negate it. Let's see. Ghost says, why does his head look like a squished jelly bean? That's a good question. Why does anything look like anything? Of course, for me, I mentioned this quite a bit. I don't see anything. When I look in this direction, there's just emptiness, there's just nothingness. There's a grand awareness that allows life to exist. I've never seen my own head before. I've never seen my own face before. I've seen reflections, I've seen photographs, I've seen something that claims to be my head in the camera right in front of me. However, when I look in this direction, I see absolutely nothing at all. And yet, in that nothingness, there's an awareness of the entirety of the universe right here. However, if I were to look at our friend Ghost, where my head is supposed to be, I would see his head. So when Ghost is looking outwards and he thinks he's seeing my head, in actuality, he's seeing his own. So the better question would be, Ghost, why does your head look like a squished jelly bean? And does it need to be any different? It absolutely doesn't. It's beautiful the way it is, my friend. The one 85 says, what a world, man, oh man. I agree. What a world. Let's see. Jay says, he got all them books downloaded into his head behind him. Some of them, not all of them. I'm working on it. Shadow says, yo, what's up? Shadow, how are you, my friend? So, been spending a little bit of time reading a version, an interpretation of the Tao Te Ching, Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, which could also be taken right out of A Course in Miracles, where they tell us to not seek to change the world, but change our perception of the world. That when we forgive the thoughts of our projections, every thought is based in either one or two things. It's based in fear, or it's based in love. If you see a world that is hurtful, if you see a world of pain and suffering, it's because we are projecting those thoughts that we have of our own belief in separation onto the world. It puts the onus of healing exactly on our shoulders, meaning that if we want to heal the world, we need to heal our thoughts. We need to think with the mind of love. We need to think with the mind of God. We need to think with the mind of the Tao. Apples says, morning, McCarty. Morning, Apples. How are you? Shadow says it's good. I'm good too, my friend. Thank you. So how do we do that? Because it sounds complicated. How do we heal every single thought? By realizing that there's only two thoughts in various content, various form, but it's either a thought based in fear or a thought existing in the reality of love. So can we choose love? Sometimes. It's hard making those choices. How about we simply forgive the projections that we're putting out into the world? Just forgive. And we're not the ones forgiving. Forgiveness simply happens. We realize in this moment, everything's already forgiven. Every resentment, every grievance, every problem, every trouble exists as a thought within your mind. Without that thought, we have pure forgiveness. Without that thought, we're at peace. Without that thought, we're existing in the reality of love. And we proceed from there, moment by moment by moment. Let's see. Stella says Solar 25. Cycle 25, my bad. Um, let's see. Sorry, I'm a little behind. Stella says hi. Kira says, sup, my friend. Stella says, this is my first day on YouTube, live. Hey, awesome. I'm happy you found me. I'm not so sure that's a great start. Says this borderline astral projection. I brought up a little bit, but the rabbit hole was too steep for me. Interesting. Let's see, Jace. Yogi, just finished my live. I'm sore today. You've been putting in the big work, Jace. Sorry I missed your live, my friend. Apple says I'm doing all right. Been focusing more on work and moving forward in life a bit more recently. Less video games and less alcohol recently. That's awesome, Apples. Those are some big changes, and yet they seem subtle. Just these subtle little changes that we can make, and our life proceeds from there. So much easier. All right, Stella says the sun has had a lot of solar flares today. I'm so mad. What makes you mad about that? I thought the sun was done with the big flares. Stella says I love my view. And that, yeah, that's confusing. Got scared on May 8th. Brandon says bald boy. Yeah, I can't deny that. There's no sense arguing that. Brandon, what would you do if I read that comment and I screamed and I went running to the mirror? Oh my God. Is it true? Am I a bald boy? Let's see. Sola says I learned only the sun. Sola says I love him bald. Well, thank you for that. Sola says, do you follow any of that or no? You know what? I don't. Not really. At this point in my life, my main focus is just healing, forgiving, and moment by moment do my best in life, letting life reveal itself to me as it does, with as little interference, with as little defenselessness or defense, with as little ego involvement as possible. Let's see. The one says, keep going, Apple 76. 76 days of cigarettes for myself, one day at a time. Awesome. Hey, the 185, that's absolutely awesome. And thanks for that encouragement to our friend Apples. Let's see. Brandon says, why are you wearing an earring? It's supposed to be the man. I would think that it is other natural ornaments on me that make me a man and not an earring or not an earring. That's a good question, though. I got my ear pierced in 1981, and it's been there ever since. Still, it says the sun is on a crazy cycle. Earthquakes all the time. That's quite interesting, Stella. Our good friend Flowers here says, hello, Yogi. Evan says, you have a girlfriend? Or you have a girlfriend? I have something better than a girlfriend. I have an ex-wife. Let's see. Brandon says, bet you like dudes? For what purpose? Let's see. Stella says, Yellowstone has been getting tons of new earthquakes. I didn't realize that. The 185 says, elegantly put, Yogi, you that fella. Let's see. Brandon says, intercourse. So when you begin to view the world as projection, you don't take anything personally. Anything that is presented to you is a projection from the other person. And in truth, the other person doesn't really exist. There's just life and reality in and of itself. So you just go through life forgiving everyone's projection because it's your own projection. Evan says, you ever miss your wife? Not yet, because her and I are still together in our own unique way. We've actually never really been apart. We divorced in form only, and then just proceeded with our relationship as it presented itself. It's been a really beautiful almost 23-year experience with her. Jay says, the sun is not totally understood. None of the main celestial bodies are, but it's for sure interesting. Stella says, a lot of people haven't cared about the weather lately. They just think it's hot. They don't know the sun is a whole cycle about to kill us, basically. Let's see. Brandon says no, because he likes men. I have nothing against men. Some of my best friends are men. Some of my best friends are women. Flower says, Miss Mocha. Exactly. So it says, did you know the concept of God was in the 11th century? I didn't know. I know the concept of God is in the mind of all of us. And it's just that. It's a concept. But the life itself, God, reality, love, beyond concepts. It's the isness of existence itself. Let's see. Stella says the trolls are crazy. Yeah. Just an appearance. Again, going back to projection, when you realize it's just a little tiny ego crying out for recognition, and that ego is appearing within my own awareness, how do you take anything seriously? How do you defend against anything? It's just, it's just part of life. Let's see. Brandon says, bet you like eating that brown Cheerio. Not exactly sure what that is, but I actually don't eat Cheerios. Jay says, Brandon, buddy, I feel sorry for you. Maybe one day wisdom may catch up with you. Acceptance is a major thing. Acceptance is a major thing. Nicely said, Jace. Let's see. Flower says, Brandon, I'm going to time you out if you keep it up. You don't mess with the iron fist of flower. Stella says, yes. We are made out of the universe. Nicely said, Stella. Nicely said. Let's see. Apple says, I try to be manly, but I also have a nose piercing and earrings. I don't believe looks dictate anyone's manliness, per se. That's nicely said, Apple. Apple, sorry. For me, I don't try to be anything. If I tried to be manliness, would it really be manliness? I'd be trying. You don't try to be what you are. You just are. So, that's authenticity. We don't try to be authentic. We just present ourselves. Again, you don't mess with the iron fist of flower. Let's see. So it says people need to stop caring about people's opinions. I agree. But you know what? Even further, even a little bit deeper, I stopped caring about my own opinion. Don't take it so seriously. If I'm to not take other people's opinions so serious, why would I take mine? It's just a thought. It's just a thought that's been so heavily invested in that I think of it as reality, when in fact, reality exists on its own in an all-allowingness that allows everyone to have an opinion, allows every opinion to change. It's beyond opinion and concept. It's beyond belief. Flower says that's true. So it says the subject you're talking about, you have to know science to say the truth. I would agree. Although science not being the complete answer, because the purpose of science is to eventually prove itself wrong if the science supports such a thing, that we never know. So my friend Robert Saltzman, the author of the 10,000 Things, says awakening never ends. Flower says just 30 minutes. 3. He won't be back. Yeah, I'll be done in about 2 minutes, actually. I'm going outside to take my walk. So it says, I got a flower for that iron fist. Scylla says, why would you stop caring about yourself? That's a good question. You don't stop caring about yourself, but you realize your true self. Is yourself an opinion? Is it a belief? Is it a thought system? Or is your true self the awareness that allows for all of those things to exist? If someone else has a wrong opinion, what makes us think that ours is right? It's just a thought. So we relate to the spaciousness that holds every opinion, and not the opinion itself. Maddie says this is a great viewpoint about our own opinion. Flower says, who do you think created us then? Flower says, God. I'm not too sure. That's actually a perfect answer from Flower. How can we be sure? To my way of viewing, I don't know of any time when I didn't exist. When was that? When I came into the world, I was aware. When I leave the world, I'll be aware. The great teacher Joel Goldstein, not Ornstein, Goldstein, said that we are parentheses in eternity. We have eternity, we have a parentheses. We have eternity over here, and we have a parentheses. We know this, but the eternity itself, the infinite, godness, godhood, exists on every side and within that parentheses. So to answer the question from Stella is, I simply don't know who created us. We have always existed. If there's always been the infinite, if there's always been this, then we've always been. So cultivating that I don't know mind, that uncertainty, the thing that Flower just said, God, not so sure. Because God's just a concept. And yet, God is beyond concepts. How we think of God is a concept. How God is beyond all concepts. Jay says, unfortunately, social influence dictates how the masses think. It's a shame. I agree, and yet we can all awaken any moment. Stella says, myself is me. Stella, are you so sure? Have you ever examined yourself? Do you have the same thoughts and opinions that you had when you were 6 that you have now? Do you have the same body at 6 that you have now? Do you have the same appearance? Do you have the same anything at 6 or when you were born as you have now? What self is still existing? What is lasting? Course in Miracles says that nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Therein lies the peace of God. So we can unpack that. What is real? What is reality? If nothing unreal exists, then what is it that is unreal and what is it that's real? Flower says, but we'll never know. We won't ever know, as in the ego will never know. However, that which is beyond the ego is knowingness itself. Stella says, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I agree. It's a good way, Stella. Jay says, Stella, you kind of answered that question. What made us? Something did. Nice. Let's see. Apple says it's weird to think a lot of things we were taught in school are just theories. Exactly. Someone else's opinions. We've been given someone else's opinions, and we believe them so deeply that we made them our own. And then later they come out with new theories. There's a lot of truth to the universe we won't find in this lifetime. So it says, 11th century, if you think God made us. Wants to know if we want a scientific answer. Jay says, Stella science does not have the answers. Stella says, I didn't know about the Earth at 6. And yet, the Earth still existed. That's pretty interesting. Flower says, life on Earth started as something small that eventually evolved to animals and then humans, from what I know. Stella says, I'm not trying to fight the Bible. It's made for faith. But we come from the stars above. I wouldn't argue that. I would say that we are the very stuff of the stars above, that our physical makeup, our psychological makeup, all of it came from the existence of stars. That we are made up, the elements of our body, the particles of our existence, all came from the explosion of the stars. Let's see. Jay says, if we evolved from apes, why did all the apes not evolve? Evolution is not the answer. I would say evolution is not the answer. However, it's not that we evolved from apes. We evolved as apes. Apple says, I love that everything isn't solved by science just yet, and hopefully ever. Gives a good fascination to life. Hey, we live in mystery. To me, that's the important thing. Accepting ourselves as a mystery and proceeding as that. We don't need to know the answers. We just need to live. It's enough that we're alive. It's enough that we've embraced existence itself. Sola says yes and yes. I'm asking stuff. I know. Just want to see if you know. I'll tell you what, I don't know anything. I just know the mystery itself. And any answer is a temporary label put upon the mystery. If we can live without those labels, then we can be at peace with the world itself. Let's see. So it says a lot of lies in our history. I agree. Laura says, what? And yeah. So it says, I got really scared, so I learned a lot. I'm stoned. I'm stoned. My bad for saying apes. Jay says, there's knowledge for superior to what we know. It's periodic released, but from where? Good question, Jace. Laura says, what I first learned about the sun that's going to explode, I got so panicked. I can understand that. There's an app for weather if you don't know. Luke says, good morning. Luke, my friend, how are you? I'm getting ready to head out and take a walk. I'm actually a little late. Apples has to run. Me too. So it says, last 2 months when the sun has been giving us flares. Interesting. So guys, let me run. I like to get out before the sun comes up and be there when it fully rises. All kinds of interesting stuff happening outside. I got foxes running around. I got owls. I got hawks. Luke says it's doing good. So Back to the Future yesterday. Good movie. It was a good movie. I really enjoyed that. Stella says, if you're all seeing the lights in the sky, that's radiation from the sun. The Earth is trying to process. Hey, Stella, I appreciate you sharing the information with us, my friend. Jace says, have a great day. You too, Jace. I'm sure I'm going to see you around. Hey, guys, remember that Leo, Burpee Reaper, and Jacob are putting in a big, big day of Navy SEALs, 500 Navy SEALs. Let's see. Flower says, have a great day, everyone. Even Brandon. Thank you for that, Flower. See y'all later. Take care, guys.